We are in an insane point in human history. If you talk to the top people working at AI, what they're really trying to do is they're trying to build God in a computer. They want to build a machine so powerful that it can give prosperity to everyone. It will give so much freedom for all of humanity, is what they say. But do you really believe that those who are able to make God in a computer will want to share their wealth with everybody? No. And they know this. The moment we get to general artificial intelligence, and it's an autonomous system, first, we don't know if we can control it. But secondly, even if we can, it will replace most humans. Like, it will actually just make humans redundant. If you have power, why would you pay somebody to work for you if you know how to do it for free? The answer from those in power would just be to kill or neglect those humans who are not useful. This is the way we're heading right now. And everybody is justifying it because, well, if I don't build God in a computer, then somebody else will, with worse values than me, of course. So I need to be first. And even if it destroys all of humanity because we are not able to control it, well, then at least I was the one who built it. Like, there's a certain narrative there that says, oh, awesome. I have been this important for the development of human history. Even if we all die, even if millions of people just cease to exist, there's something so rotten in this current system. We are building algorithms specifically designed to suck your attention. We are going to get everything fed to us, exactly how we want it. And we're going to believe that this is abundance and freedom. It already started with the invention of social media. The algorithm of social media was the invention that made Facebook and YouTube so popular. This was the first AI that tried to figure out what is that people most likely want to see. And from there, it started to erode all of human society, isolating us further, making us less trustworthy, making us feel like nobody knows what's true anymore. This is going to get worse before it gets better. And you want to be prepared. And you want to understand what you can do about your own sovereignty, your own lucidity, how you want to live your life. What's going on is bigger than any single one of us, but we're all forming part of this part of human history. And there are no shadowy elites. There's nothing left secret. It is all happening out in the open. That's the real conspiracy, is that there is none. It is obvious what is going on. We are just blinding ourselves to it because we don't want to see. It is a system that has become a monster, so much stronger than any individual, that is controlling your entire perception of life. You've just taken it for granted that an algorithm is feeding you what you want to see. And you actually believe it is an accurate representation of reality. It's a system that has emerged from accumulated wrong intentions. And now it's running on autopilot, optimizing for metrics that have nothing to do with human flourishing, nothing with your own individual happiness. There has been set a deliberate intention from people in power to use your technology to drain your energy. It is there to train your attention to waver, to not be present. It is mass brainwashing, mass hypnosis in a giant scale. And every single one of us is a victim. Everybody thinks that it is our choice to enact with social media. It's our choice to interact with algorithms. It's our choice to be in this political climate. We have been trained to engage without wisdom towards things, because who needs their own wisdom if the algorithm just tells you what you need to believe? But the system underneath just creates profit without care. It's cold growth without direction, without real purpose. It just cares for power, for numbers. We exist in Babylon. Babylon operates on the societal level, like as a city full of sin and distraction. And with sin, I just mean ignorance. Ignorance of what is actually going on, internally and externally. How fucked things really are. But then Babylon also operates internally. It is the own narrator in your head. The false voice in your head that was installed way before you were aware. Schools have always rewarded performance over presence. This was never an authentic society. We have measured the value of culture by our output. And if output is the only value, why wouldn't you just be replaced? Because every empire that has too much access, every empire that is built on extraction, rises and then collapses. The external Babylon is the economic, political, and technological system that is disrupting our society from the core into chaos. The structure that people mistake for permanence, the safety that we have right now in our houses, in peaceful times, is very fragile. And COVID made it more obvious. COVID made us more isolated. It made the power that these algorithms have on society more obvious, and how institutions seem to be untrustworthy. Then there's internal Babylon. It's the false sense of self looking for meaning in life, looking for a grand narrative or purpose that is personal. And in this pursuit for personal grandiosity, it clings towards the system of Babylon. It clings towards power and it clings towards control, and it doesn't see the larger picture. This collapse is coming for everyone. The collapse of all the systems of Babylon. Internal and external. It's an existential threat externally, as society is being threatened by so many things, and internally, as your spiritual realization, to see how many patterns it has taken humanity to be where it is now, how many generations it has taken of perpetuated trauma and putting off responsibility to the next generation, how much we have abused each other as humans throughout history, not seeing each other as one. We have to see clearly how we are all one consciousness. We are one experience, believing us to be separate. And from there, we abuse and mistreat each other, and we don't care about the consequences of our action. We are self-obsessed. It's self-obsession, greed, jealousy that is at the core of what Babylon is. What remains when you deconstruct these forces that Babylon has put into you or programmed into you, you first must see that this program even exists in the first place. You are waking up to the nature of Babylonia. You become lucid and awake to the world you're actually inhabiting. How conditioned everything is. How the moment you wake up and you pick your phone, this choice has not been done by you. Internal ground is to find stability in this reality. To notice how deeply conditioned you have been, how deeply controlled you have been. And to be ready to face the truth about the current moment in time in your relationship to it. To gain clarity while others are lost in panic. There is no exit, but you are a creature of perception. And from there, you can find something internal that sees it all for what it actually is like. and then you don't get pushed around by the internal structures of Babylonia anymore. The only way out of it is through clarity, through lucidity. You are actually free to make your own choices instead of letting these choices be done for you. Because Babylon is failing. It always has failed. It is the system that drives everything towards few individuals, towards greed and power and egoic vanity. And it will always end in collapse. It will always end in millions of beings suffering until we don't learn that this is a cycle. That we need to be taught again and again and again that we are in this together. And that all harm we are causing onto each other is stupidity. It's vanity. The question is, will you fall with everybody else when Babylon fails? Or will you be standing somewhere else? Will you feel sovereign in yourself? Will you be able to find contentment even in this Babylonic system? Can you see what lies beyond the system? What is possible for humanity to achieve? What it would mean like if we actually come together? Can you fathom this as possible? Because Babylon is designed to make it feel like it's impossible. It wants you to believe that you can't change the system. You can't escape the system, and you can't understand the nature of the system. Babylon is what happens when a civilization scales beyond their capacity for genuine connection. When systems become too complex for accountability. When optimization replaces values. When the map becomes the territory and everybody forgets that there was ever a ground of connection beneath, of humanity beneath. There's one thing that is just simply not knowing. But Babylon is designed to prevent you from believing that you can know something. It wants to fragment your attention so much that you cannot distinguish truth from falsehood anymore. Your clarity gets systematically undermined. We are being harvested. And once you see how deeply it is ingrained right now in society, you wake up. You become lucid about how manipulated everything is and how manipulated you are by the algorithms and by your own mind as a consequence, by the belief that the stories in your head and the things that you see on social media have the sort of significance that people want you to believe they have. When more often than not, you're completely powerless against them. You are just investing emotional energy into something external to not look internally, to not look at your life that you're living. You lose all sense of reality in what is just being shown to you, and you just eat it like a baby because it's comfortable. It sedates you. And it's difficult to break away from what is sedating you. Engagement is maximized through emotional activation. The algorithms are there to make you emotionally invested in something. Do you understand how much power these algorithms are having over human emotion? Over how we see each other, how we interact with each other. It is isolating us so that in the future, there's no way to tell who is part of whose tribe or whose group. Because if you get a perfectly designed algorithm that creates content for everything that you want to see, it is the ultimate trance state. It is the ultimate hypnosis. Your entire life becomes a feed of consumption, and you're giving it in for the powers that be. And the true evil of the situation, it's that is in an internal installation. You're doing it from your own volition. Before you could speak, you were already being colonized. Your parents have inherited their own fears about life, their own systems that came way before algorithms in this modern way were at place, but still systems of societal manipulation. And they often start locally, right? In their own household. Emotional abuse is the norm for people. We abuse each other emotionally and then wire each other because of this abuse. Your parents are the figures in your life who have had the most resources and most availability and most power over your life. So they completely shape already what is your relationship to power and authority and your own sense of self-love and individuality. And then from there you basically have a footprint or a sort of fingerprint that is your wound. It is what makes you react to things, which makes you more likely to be addicted to drugs, which makes you more likely to obsessively look for love in other people, which makes you more likely to be chronically unsatisfied and looking for some success or some power to fulfill you. And then your environment basically gets molded in a way that it uses every vulnerability possible. And it's not evil per se. It's not even done intentionally. The system has completely lost any sort of self-awareness almost. It's just society. And now we have brought this way of interacting with each other, of manipulating each other to such a scale, because those in power, those with the money, they do not care about your well-being. Their intention is to harvest you so that the numbers go up. And you might feel like you're used to this or you think it's normal, but it's not. It's not normal that we don't treat each other more important than cattle. We are pattern recognition systems. We ourselves are like algorithms that run on patterns. Every morning you wake up, you eat, you take a shit, you go to the shower, and you have experiences that repeat each other again and again and again and again. And you loop around these experiences and they carve basically your entire life into sort of pavement. And by repeating the patterns again and again, you make it more likely to do the same things again and again, because the patterns basically erode you and form you into a certain shape. And then from this shape, you're trying to break out of. But this shape is what you have become. It's the entirety of your pattern machinery. And to be lucid is to break free from this machinery, from the patterns that have caved in your mind. So it means becoming free of addiction, to be able to know what you want, to feel free of insecurities, to feel free of validation, to not need anybody to make you feel confident in yourself. Then you can break the system, because instead of being controlled by your impulses, you're controlled by a higher level of awareness, a higher level systems thinking that understands that just because an impulse tells you to do something, you don't have to. And this is where you find genuine free will, by consciously choosing, and not by being manipulated to always run on autopilot. But this entire shaping around your wounds is what technology has perfected now. Or it's becoming more and more perfect, when we know exactly what you want and we know exactly how to make you care for it and tell you that we have the answer, or at least we can poke the desire for the answer. Now they have hooked you forever. And to be real, there's value in all of the system, right? I am saying all the shadow sides because the shadow sides, I think, are what are really important. But there's beauty in art, there's beauty in the algorithm, there's even beauty in AI. And there might even be a way in which AI is more than just a corporate dead system. I like to think about a chatbot like a magical text box, because there is a level of magic to it that is hard to ignore. You just get kind of used to it because you get used to the world you're living in. But if you have lucid eyes, then you are always aware that it's incredible that AI exists. And there is good reason why we don't like it, or we're getting annoyed by it, or we're feeling overwhelmed by it, because it is going to be the most powerful force in our lifetime. Even economically, the entire world economy rests on it right now, and we might fall into a deep depression because we are getting too excited too quickly over it. But who knows how long it will take until most humans are replaceable. So you want to find value in yourself and in your life, independent of being replaceable. You want to create a life on your own terms. And fundamentally, it means to be aware of what is moving you.